Baseball. Live from Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona, KCAL 9 presents the Dodgers as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Saturday to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Arizona. Nice day, temperature in the high 80s. No threat of the rain that's in and around Los Angeles, although they do say it'll be on its way over here Sunday and perhaps Monday. For the Dodgers and the Brewers, the Dodgers, the home team, have now won 3 in a row. I guess their biggest day so far in the spring was beating the hated Giants yesterday, and they come into this game with a 3-game winning streak. And for the Brewers, 13-8 in the spring, one of the more remarkably turned around franchises and a threat to catch Cincinnati in the Central Division. For the Dodgers, it'll be right-hander Hiroki Kuroda. And for the Milwaukee Brewers, former Dodger left-hander Randy Wolf. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this. as the Dodgers and a vastly improved Milwaukee Brewers club square off. The Brewers come in with a record of 13-8. The Dodgers are 8-15, but they have won 3 straight, and perhaps their sweetest win so far in the spring, beating the Giants yesterday 4-3. During the regular year, when the games counted, the Dodgers beat Milwaukee 4 out of 6. Last year, the Dodgers, as you probably know, were 2 games under 500, finishing 4th, 14 games behind the Giants, 12 behind the Giants, and the Brewers were 14 behind Cincinnati. So let's take a look now at the Milwaukee lineup, and they come in here with a record of 13-8. Ricky Weeks at second base, and the veteran Craig Counsell at third. Yuniesky Betancourt at shortstop, and Eric Almonte will be at first. Jeremy Reed in right field, Chris Dickerson in center field, Brandon Boggs in left field, Will Nieves behind the plate, and Randy Wolf on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Hiroki Kuroda, who was 11-13 last year. And as you are aware, I'm sure, since he hails from Osaka in Japan, he was visibly shaken and worried about what has taken place in his country. And the very first thing that Hiroki did this spring when he heard about the earthquake and the tsunami was to donate $50,000 immediately. In case you wonder about the city of Osaka, Osaka in Japanese means large hill or large slope, and it is a thriving metropolitan city, very big economically in Japan with a very visible port, and it has a domed stadium. In fact, 2 teams play professionally in Japan. The Oryx Buffaloes and the Hanshin Tigers both play in the domed stadium. For Osaka, it's south of Tokyo on the east side of one of the 4 Japanese islands. I remember when the Dodgers were over there, that's a long time ago, 1956 when I was there, but they were telling us that you could take the 4 islands of Japan and fit them inside the boundaries of the state of California. That's one thing. But just imagine the population over there is about 150 million. So picture 150 million in the state of California. It seems that way at 5 o'clock on the freeway, I'm sure. Meanwhile, the Dodgers make a last-minute change. Aaron Miles, who had been listed at second base, is playing third. Juan Uribe is at second base, and I assume they're hitting in the same spot. And the first pitch to Ricky Weeks is promptly banged into center field for a base hit. So Ricky Weeks with a solid single to center for a ball club that has really been on a tear offensively. In fact, Ricky Weeks was hitting .438. He now has 15 for 33 off to the great spring. But, of course, the Brewers as a team are hitting .340 in the spring. So Kuroda and the Dodgers figure to have their hands full. So Craig Counsell, who at one time picked up checks with the Dodgers, checks in. Yuniesky Betancourt, the shortstop, is out on deck. Out of a stretch goes Kuroda, turns, throws to first, and Weeks back on the bag. For the Dodgers, of course, with Aaron Miles playing third and Uribe at second, that's a switch. If indeed Casey Blake can't play for opening day, chances are Jamie Carroll would start at second base and Uribe would play third. Kuroda, high set, comes to the plate. Counsell shows bunt and takes a strike. So Craig Counsell up there with a runner at first. Nobody out in the first inning. For the Milwaukee Brewers, they made huge moves this winter, getting starting pitchers Zach Greinke and Sean Markham from Kansas City and Toronto, respectively. So they had a fivesome of starters, but both Greinke and Markham are sidelined, one with what is almost like a John Garland rib problem, and the other with a stiff shoulder. Nevertheless, they still have Giovanni Gallardo, Randy Wolf, and Chris Narberson, and they each won 10 games. But for the Brewers, to be an offensive club in the spring, they're really just carrying over from what they did during last year. A pitch out, but no action, and the count stays. Last year, for instance, the Brewers had 3 hitters with more than 100 RBIs, and none of them were named Prince Fielder. That's right. Fielder finished 4th with 83 RBIs on the team, but he did have a team-high 32 home runs. Counsell, meanwhile, waiting patiently at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Kuroda delivers, fastball in on the hands, check swing, no swing, and that runs the count to 2-1. Who are the big RBIs for the Milwaukee Brewers last year? Well, Casey McGee, he had 104. Ryan Braun, 103. Corey Hart, who's been hurt all spring, had 102. 2-1 the count to Craig Counsell. Kuroda off the rubber. Hiroki, very deliberate. He was 11-13 against the league last year. Played over in Japan for the Hiroshima Carp, and the pitch is low, and the count runs now 3-0 to Craig Counsell. So Kuroda, worrying about a hit-and-run play or a sacrifice, has now deepened the count 3-1. Now let's see if indeed Ron Renicky, the new skipper, and we certainly wish him well, see if he plays run and hit. We'll watch Ricky Weeks. They have a lot of speed up at the top. Throw over there, and Weeks diving back to the bag. So Weeks, who runs very well, held on at first base by Hector Jimenez. Garth Orge is the first base coach. Ed Cedar coaching at third for Renicky. Another look by Kuroda, and Weeks off the bag. He's always a threat to run, and Kuroda very deliberate. Weeks goes late, ground ball, a line drive, in fact, speared by Uribe before it hits the ground, and it's an easy double play on a throw to first. Sinking line drive, and Uribe just did grab it in the air before it hit the ground. So Weeks, who last year stole 11 bases, is doubled up. And we have 2 down in the first inning, and Yuniesky Betancourt will be coming up. So a 4-3 line drive, and we have 2 down in the first inning. For the Brewers last year, they were 8 games under 500, finished in 3rd place, 14 back of Cincinnati. But everyone felt that their fortunes would improve dramatically with Greinke and Markham. The next pitch is off the plate. So Kuroda, who went 3-1 to Craig Counsell, is 2-0 now to Betancourt. But when you get all those big hitters in the lineup, plus Prince Fielder, and then you have 5 pretty good pitchers, Milwaukee figures to be a contender. Fly ball to right field. Xavier Paul is right there to put it away as Betancourt lifts one skyward. No runs, a hit, nobody left. The end of half an inning, no score. 4 in the ball game, and the Dodgers coming up. And here's the way the lineup has been filled out by Don Mattingly. It'll be Rafael Furcal leading off at shortstop, followed by Tony Gwynn in center field. Juan Uribe is at second base, batting third, with Marcus Thames in left field. Hector Jimenez at first base, Xavier Paul in right field, Rod Barajas behind the plate. Aaron Miles is at third base, and on the mound, Hiroki Kuroda. Randy Wolf, at one time a Dodger, makes his first pitch, and to Rafael Furcal, it misses. 1 ball and no strikes. For Randy Wolf, who will be 35 in August, veteran left-hander, back with a pitch grounded to short. Up with it there is Betancourt to make the play. So Furcal grounds to short, and we have 1 away. Randy Wolf, 5'11", 200, out of Canoga Park, was a second-round pick by the Phillies back in 1997, went to Pepperdine University. His biggest year was with the Phillies in 2003 when he won 16 games. He has won 11 games 3 times in a big league career that started late in 99. So Randy into the windup, misses with his pitch away to Tony Gwynn. 1 ball and no strikes. So young Gwynn, who flies, as you know, does a great job in the outfield. Dodgers would love it if he would hit enough, though we'll see. He has a look at a strike. He's tied for second on the club in steals. He has a half a dozen, and he's doing very well. He's hitting .333, second on the club with Ethier. They each have 11. Now the pitch coming up, and Gwynn takes away, and the count goes 2 balls and 1 strike. For Randy Wolf, when he was with the Dodgers, he was with them in 07 and again in 09. His record then, 20-13. The left-hander ready and comes back to his hitter. Fly ball to left field. Backtrack a little bit is Boggs, and Brandon makes the catch. And we have 2 down here in the first inning. For Randy Wolf, he struggled into July of last year and then turned things around considerably. In fact, he had 5 blown saves, or his record would be even better, and he led the staff in starts, quality starts. He also appeared in 215 innings, but it was the second half when he went 6-3 and a great earned run average of 2.6. Here's Juan Uribe. He takes high, ball 1, 1-0 the count to the right-hand hitter. Wolf looks down the barrel to get a sign. Now he comes back to Uribe, who chases one, tries to lift it, and can't do it. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. For Juan Uribe, hitting just .214, no home runs, and a half a dozen runs batted in. Wolf's big curveball is hit wide of third. Counsell is on it, makes the play. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for each side. No runs, no hits, no errors, and at the end of 1, no score. Move to the second. Eric Almonte, Jeremy Reed, and then Chris Dickerson. Eric Almonte spent about 15 years almost in the minor leagues with a couple of brief visits with the New York Yankees. Big right-hand hitter, takes high, ball one. He's 33 years old, 6'2", and about 250. And, of course, the first baseman for Milwaukee is Prince Fielder. So Almonte, a long shot to make the club. However, he's had a great spring. Swings, it's a line drive just off the fingertips of Rafael Furcal and on out into left field for a base hit. So Almonte, who started off the spring really struggling, has been blazing hot ever since. He was 2 for 16. Now he's 18 for his last 33. And Jeremy Reed, left-hand hitter, coming up. So another runner at first base. Nobody out, second inning, no score. Jeremy Reed is from San Dimas. He's been around a bit. Left-hand hitter waiting. Out of his stretch goes Kuroda. Back with a good fastball in for a strike. Jeremy Reed facing Hiroki Kuroda. Kuroda turned 36 February the 10th. Osaka, where he's from, we mentioned a large city, population about 2.6 million. Off-speed pitch, Reed way out in front of it. Jeremy has played a lot with Seattle. He briefly was with the New York Mets, and last year had a cup of coffee with Toronto. He has a brother, Mark, who is a catcher in the Diamondbacks organization. And Jeremy graduated from Bonita High School and went to Long Beach State. Out of his stretch goes Kuroda. Here he comes in the dirt. Nice block by Barajas. 1-2 the count. For Jeremy Reed, as he stands at the plate waiting, the left-hander, among other things, was on the Olympic qualifying team for the United States back in 2003. So Reed up there. Over at first is Almonte. On deck, Chris Dickerson. And Kuroda looks down the barrel to get a sign. Hiroki set, comes to his hitter, swung on and missed. So for Jeremy Reed, he strikes out with a runner at first, one away. First strikeout for Kuroda, and the batter will be Chris Dickerson. Chris Dickerson, another left-hand hitter, an outfielder. He went to and graduated from Notre Dame High School in the Valley. Born in Hollywood and lives in Marina del Rey. So here's Dickerson, who was acquired in the deal with Cincinnati that sent veteran outfielder Jim Edmonds to the Reds. And, of course, Jim finally called a great career and put an end to it. Throw to first. Almonte back on the bag. When Trevor Hoffman was pitching in his 600th game for a save, that was the big story. And in that game, Dickerson got kicked out of the game for arguing balls and strikes. He takes a strike. So Chris is his own man up there. He attended the University of Nevada, Reno. Dickerson is 28 years old. One of those things where his first 6 hits in the major leagues went for extra bases. 4 doubles, a triple, and a home run. Fouls a fastball back, though he's still up there. No balls and 2 strikes. There are not very many people who could boast about that. In fact, he's just one of 3 active players whose first 6 hits in the majors were extra base hits. The others, Carlos Quinton and Carlos Gonzalez. Out of his stretch goes Kuroda. 0-2 the count to Chris Dickerson. Hiroki ready, a bluff running at first, a big bouncer to the right side. Uribe goes to get the force man, throws into the runner, and the ball gets away from Furcal. Tough play. Uribe was going to his left, tried to throw just as Almonte and Furcal were coming to the bag. and an error will be charged to Furcall. It was a tough play, and for Furcall, he had to make a very good play for the force and couldn't do it. So Rafael Furcall will draw an error. And just like that, with one out, runners at first and second, and Brandon Boggs coming up. Brandon Kyle Boggs out of St. Louis, Missouri. About an even 6, 195. Switch hitter, batting left-handed. So 2 on, 1 out, no score, and Boggs swings, doesn't get it. Boggs, the last couple of years, played briefly for Texas in 08, 09, and very briefly last year. Spent most of those 3 years playing in Oklahoma. And he signed as a free agent in November. Originally signed by the Yankees. And the pitch to him is high up above the eyes. So runners at first and second. With 1 away in the second inning, no score. Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers. Getting close. The 31st will be opening night at Dodger Stadium with the Giants. Just around the corner. Kuroda again a high set, back with a pitch that just drops in, a splitter for a strike. And the count 1-2. Kuroda trying to get some ground balls. He has had one fly ball. Betancourt hit a fly ball to end the first inning. But he'd like to get somebody to hit the splitter on the ground and get out of the inning. He got out of the first inning on a line drive double play. Kuroda looks at the runners. The right-hander works it inside. Almost hit Boggs. 2-2 the count with 1 away. Boggs raised in Georgia, went to Pope High School, and also went to Georgia Tech. So Brandon waiting. Kuroda looks back at second at Almonte. Now to the plate, and a fly ball into right field deep, and running parallel to the track is Paul. Backs out on the paw to make the catch on the track. Tagging at second is Almonte to move over to third. So Boggs, a long fly ball to right field. Now there are runners at first and third with 2 out. And the catcher, Will Nieves, coming up. Will Nieves has a brother, Melvin, you may remember, who is a major league outfielder. Spent 7 years with Atlanta, San Diego, Detroit, and Cincinnati. Will was born in San Juan, right-handed all the way. Nieves last year played with Washington and hit .203, right-hand hitter. Kuroda first and third, 2 out, no score. Second inning, Hiroki ready, here he comes, and it's fouled away, and the count 0-1. No balls and 1 strike, the count. Jonathan LaCroix figures to be the catcher. The battle with Will Nieves and also George Kitaris. They're the fellows who are battling to handle what should be a very good pitching staff. Kuroda sets right at the collarbone. A long, deliberate look, and then to the fastball to the plate. Chopper to third. Miles Fields throws on the run and gets him, and that's that. No runs, 1 hit, an error, 2 left, and at the end of an inning and a half, no score. Second inning, a reminder, be sure to join the Dodgers Sunday, April 3rd with the Giants. And remember, all fans in attendance take home a Dodger sleeved fleece blanket presented by State Farm. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. Bottom of the second inning, no score in the ball game. Randy Wolf ready to pitch to Marcus Thames, then Hector Jimenez and Xavier Paul. Right-hand hitter fouls the first pitch back, and the count 0-1. Thames tied for sixth in the Cactus League with 5 doubles, and Marcus started off a little slowly, but he has picked up to where he's hitting .321. Thames will be 34 opening day, and he takes a hook off the plate. He figures to see a lot of action against left-hand pitching if everything goes according to plan. Jay Gibbons would face right-handers, and Marcus hitting against southpaws. He takes just low and inside. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Thames, with over 6 years Major League experience, at 34, 6'2", 205, and takes off the plate again. Out of Louisville, but that's Louisville, Mississippi, and facing Randy Wolf. Randy Wolf, like so many other pitchers, owes his career to Tommy John surgery. Meanwhile, Thames, a line drive single to left on a fastball at the knees. Though Marcus, a solid single to left, and that'll bring up Hector Jimenez. So Thames at first, and Jimenez, who spells his name with a G, checks in at the plate. He's having a good spring, hitting .360, and he has 3 home runs with a half a dozen runs batted in. He's a long shot, switch hitter, 5'10", 225. 29 years old, out of Venezuela. So Hector takes a strike, and the count 0-1. We were talking about Randy Wolf and the fact that he had Tommy John surgery back in 2006. 2006 was a wasted year. He was with the Phillies and then recuperating at Lakewood, Reading, and Clearwater. And then in 2007 came to the Dodgers and won 9 games. He misses low and inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. His last year with the Dodgers, Randy was 11-7. Did very well. So Randy Wolf, the 35-year-old come August, looks in to get a sign, and Jimenez waiting at the plate. No score, bottom of the second inning. Randy sets up at the belt, ready now to the plate, and that's whacked to left field, but moving over quickly to pick it off is Brandon Boggs, and back to first base goes Thames. So Jimenez, a hard out to left field, 1 away, and Xavier Paul coming up. Those who remember Randy Wolf when he was a little boy, in some ways, are amazed at how he has changed. Because the word was, when he was little, he was very shy. In fact, he hated birthday parties because suddenly everybody had to sing happy birthday to him. He stood out, and that's not the way he wanted to be, and he was very uncomfortable. The breaking ball in for a strike. And now, after all those years of being such a shy kid, he's been center stage on the mound in the big leagues since 1999. Good all-around athlete. He was a good hitter at Pepperdine. And you may know his brother, Jim, a Major League umpire. Randy ready, delivers, drops it in for a strike, and the count 0-2. The only caveat as far as Jim Wolf is concerned, if he is with the group of umpires working a game where Randy Wolf is pitching, Jim cannot work behind the plate. They just rearrange it and keep his brother on the base paths. Not because he would give him extra room. They just don't want people to think that he might. Strike 2 pitch on the way. A little high, kind of a showcase fastball, and the count 1-2. When Randy was in college, among other things, he got a lot of attention. He had a no-hitter for Pepperdine. And for that matter, when he was at El Camino Real High School, he led the team to the city championship and was the Los Angeles Player of the Year 2 years in a row, 93 and 94. Randy throws to first. Back to the bag is Thames. Bottom of the second inning, no score. One thing that Randy Wolf has tremendous respect, besides major league hitters, is the surf. When he was about 15 at County Line on a boogie board, he almost drowned. Randy said, here he comes, low and inside, backhanded by Nieves. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Of course, for the Wolf brothers, one a pitcher and one an umpire. Back in 1972, you had Tom Haller, a catcher, and his brother Bill Haller, an umpire. They were the first player-umpire-brother combination in the big leagues. 2-2 off speed, slap foul off third down the line and back into the stands. Although the temperature is in the 80s, it is a very, very comfortable day in the stands. Basically, no roof because the weather is always so good over here. But with a thin layer of clouds, you can almost see through them and see the powder blue. They have taken away the strength, the bite of the sun. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out, Thames at first, no score, bottom of the second inning. Randy Wolf delivers, and it is fouled back to the screen yet again. No runs, 2 hits for the Brewers. For Randy, basically, you know you're going to get a fastball, a curveball, pretty good cutter, and a wonderful circle change. In December of 2009, he signed a 3-year deal with the Brewers, just about $30 million. So they expect a lot of him. Randy straightens up. Backing out is Xavier Paul and Rod Barajas waiting on deck. Xavier Paul out of Slidell, Louisiana. 26 years old, has run out of options. The next pitch to him ties him up on a check swing for strike 3. That was that circle change in on the hands. And for Xavier Paul, he just did not know what to do with it. Strikeout number 1 for Randy Wolf, who has given up 1 hit. And Rod Barajas coming up. So Randy Wolf trying to get his 3rd out here in the second inning. No score in the ball game. Remember how popular Randy was when he came up with the Phillies and the fans established what they call the Wolf Pack? The pitch to Barajas in for a strike. The original group, by the way, of the Wolf Pack, they were all sons of a retired Philadelphia policeman. And 4 of them followed their dad into the Philadelphia Police Department. One of them is a Marine. Strike 1 pitch on the way. Randy deals, and the fastball crowds the hit of Barajas. And the count now, 1 ball and 1 strike. Rod Barajas in the spring, slow start. Veteran has been hitting .231. Rod, 6'2", about 250, and 35 years old. Born in Ontario and lives in Del Mar. Slices 1 foul down the line, out of play. Barajas came to the Dodgers, you remember, as a waiver claim in August. Worked hard behind the plate. And in his brief time with the Dodgers last year, hit .297. 5 home runs, 13 RBIs. And in his first game as a Dodger in Los Angeles, the local boy went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles and a home run. Now the pitch to Barajas is swung on and fouled away. So Rod is still up there 1-2. Interestingly enough, that first game with the Dodgers was against Milwaukee. And he became the first Dodger to record 3 extra base hits in his first game with the team. Then he homered in his first game as a Dodger at Dodger Stadium. For Randy Wolf, ready to make his 20th pitch of the game. And the left-hander out of a stretch. Another look at first. Randy comes to his hitter inside at the thighs, and they count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good-sized ballpark here at Camelback Ranch. 410 to dead center. 345 and 380 in the power alleys. And the ball jumps, as the hitters say, in the heat. Wolf straightens up now, a look over at first. And the 2-2 pitch is taken just inside, ball 3. Tried to hit the corner and just missed. Waiting on deck, Aaron Miles. Miles, the on-deck hitter, he's had a good spring. He's hitting .323. Handy guy to have around, whether he's playing second or third. So 3-2 with 2 down. That means Thames is off to the races. The first baseman, Eric Almonte, is not on the bag. Wolf looks over, stares over, now to the plate, and is promptly banged up the middle for a base hit. Thames stops at second and holds there. So Rod Barajas, line drive single up the middle, and the Dodgers in business, 2 on, 2 out, and Aaron Miles coming up. Miles hitting .323, and he has 2 home runs, 2 runs batted in. For the Dodgers, Davey Lopes coaching at first, Tim Wallach over at third. And the first thing Davey does, come over to say something to Barajas as Miles checks in. Aaron's a Californian, but he was born in Pittsburgh, California. And the right-hand hitter takes a strike. Aaron, 5'8", 180. Small man who does a big job wherever he's played. He lives in Antioch, California. And a switch hitter batting right-handed today. Wolf comes back with a curveball, and that's bounced just foul outside of first. Though the runners will come back. The Brewers left runners at first and third in the top of the second inning. The Dodgers have runners at first and second with 2 out in the bottom of the second inning. Aaron Miles made his big league debut quite a while ago, 8 years ago, for the Chicago White Sox. Came up as a pinch hitter and got his first hit. It was a pinch hit RBI double. Nice way to break in. Aaron waiting. Wolf with 2 out, trying to get out of the jam. Fastball is flared into right field for a base hit. They're going to wave Thames in. The throw is cut off. The throw to third is in time to get Barajas, but the run is in. So Miles, a single to right. That scores Thames, and the play goes 9-3-5 to take care of Barajas at third. At the end of 2, 1-0 Dodgers. We go to the third inning, 1-0 in favor of the Dodgers. A reminder, individual tickets to opening day with the Giants are sold out, but you can still get tickets to the game by purchasing a Dodger mini plan, which start at $9 a seat. So go to Dodgers.com/2011 or call 323-224-1365 for more information. And talking about seats and tickets, etc., this morning at Dodger Stadium, the club is hosting an open house. Season ticket holders can drop by, which they're able to pick their favorite seats. The season tickets start at $6 a seat. There are 4 all-new value sections, including field-level seats, for only $20 a game. There'll also be a second open house March the 26th. 1-0 Dodgers, and Randy Wolf takes the first pitch a little high, ball 1. Randy has always been a pretty good hitter. He had 247 last year, and he had 19 hits. Here comes Kuroda with a fastball lifted off third down the line. Trio of Dodgers. The left fielder, Marcus Thames, makes a sliding backhanded catch as he went right into the low wall. Brilliant play for the Dodger left fielder. So Marcus Thames flows like the river and makes a fine catch on a foul ball off the bat of Randy Wolf. So with one away, Ricky Weeks coming up. A little late to be talking about it now since Randy didn't stay up at home plate much. But in August 2 years ago, probably Randy had his greatest day as a major leaguer. Meanwhile, the pitch to Weeks in for a strike. That day, the Dodgers beat the Arizona Diamondbacks. Randy Wolf pitched 7 scoreless innings. Dodgers won the game, and Randy had 3 hits, including a home run. Oh, he certainly does remember that one. One away here with Ricky Weeks at the plate, and the fastball fouled away. No balls and 2 strikes the count. Hiroki Kuroda, the 7th Japanese player in Dodger history. Former Dodger and a very popular Japanese player, Takashi Saito, is with Milwaukee. Kuroda rocks and turns, a right-hander delivers, and that's hit to the gap in right center. Playing it on a bounce is Xavier Paul as he moves over to his right. So Ricky Weeks is blazing hot now. He is 2 for 2 today. He is 16 for 34 this spring. And boy, does he wish he could put these base hits in escrow. So that is hit number 3 of Hiroki Kuroda, but he's leading 1-0. And the batter now is the veteran Craig Counsell. Counsell hit a sinking line drive backhanded by Juan Uribe, the start of a double play. That was in the first inning. Kuroda set, looks over his shoulder. Dodgers pitch out, but Weeks is not running. Craig Counsell has had a marvelous career. It's hard to believe on opening day he'll be 40 years old. Born in South Bend, Indiana, and he's had coming up working on 14 years in the big leagues. Throw to first, not in time. One of the better games that Craig Counsell has had, talking about good games and Randy Wolf. Counsell had a great game against the Dodgers about 9 years ago. He had 5 hits in the game. He has 3 grand slams. Left-hand hitter, has a look at a pitch low. Craig first came up with Colorado way back in 1995. He went from Colorado to Florida, was a hero in the World Series, came to the Dodgers in '99, and the Dodgers thought he was about finished in 1999. He hit .259, but they did not think he'd be around much longer. Well, Here he is 12 years later. He takes a strike at the knees. His lifetime batting average, .257. Yuniesky Betancourt on deck. Meanwhile, Ed Cedar hanging out a sign, the third base coach. 2-1. Kuroda very deliberate. Runner bluffs, doesn't go. Line drive, single to right field for Counsell. So there are runners at first and second with one out. And Kuroda has given up 2 hits in the inning and 4 hits, but no runs in the game. So first and second, one out, and Yuniesky Betancourt coming up. Yuniesky is from Cuba. That name, Yuniesky. Yuniesky Betancourt. Hit .259 with Kansas City. Originally came up with Seattle about 6 years ago. Veteran at 29, hitting right-handed. Kuroda with 2 on and 1 out, leading 1-0. Hard ground ball to third. Miles down to Uribe. He turns it to first to Jimenez, and the Dodgers are out of the inning, turning their second double play in 3 innings. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 left. And at the end of 2.5, Dodgers 1, Brewers 0. The third inning, the Dodgers holding on to a 1-0 lead. They've been in trouble in each inning, but they've survived thanks to the double play. And Hiroki Kuroda leading off takes a strike. Randy Wolf comes right back with a fastball hit slowly to short. Betancourt is on it, plenty of time, and he takes care of Kuroda. So 1 away here in the third inning, 1-0 in favor of the Dodgers. Randy Wolf trying to keep the form that he had in the second half of last year, gets Kuroda early in the count. He had made 25 pitches in the second inning, so he certainly wants to cut that down. So Randy now working on Rafael Furcal. Furcal grounded to short in the first inning. So Rafael 0 for 1. Came into the game hitting .250 in the spring. Into the windup is Wolf, works in on the knuckles, ball 1 for call, running up as if to bunt. Rafael, Mr. Solid in the infield as long as that back holds up, and of course that will always be the sword of Damocles hanging over his head. He fouls a pitch away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. A healthy Furcal hit .300 last year. but he only played in 97 games. 2 years ago, Rafael played in 150, hit .269, and led the club, and he had an even better year in 2007. So Furcal means so much to the Dodgers, and the right-hand hitter waiting. Rafael Antonio Furcal takes a look at a pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Rafael has two sons, wife Glennie, and the boys, Rafael Jr. and Anthony. Rafael waiting and takes a pitch low, and Wolf runs the count 3-2. First thing Rafael Furcal did with his signing bonus, that was about $5,000, he bought a car for his parents. Give you an idea what kind of a man he is. And he backs away on a pitch that almost hit him for ball 4. So that's the first walk of the day given to Furcal, and it'll bring up young Tony Gwynn. Gwynn, 28 years old, and Furcal will be coming out. Juan Castro comes out of the Dodger dugout, and Castro will run for Furcal and then stay in the game. So Castro, who's had a double-figure major league career, believe it or not, he has certainly gotten a tremendous amount out of a one-way ability. He's always been a marvelous fielder. So he's running now for Furcal. Gwynn, who flied to left field in the first inning, takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Eric Almonte is off the bag at first. He's not holding a corner on Castro. You know, Juan Castro came up to the Dodgers in 1995. He's had 16 years in the big league. 16. He'll be 39 the end of June. So a remarkable career for a wonderful human being. Castro from Mexico, Los Mochis, lives over here in Arizona, in Peoria. Throw to is a pitch instead. Ground ball to Betancourt. He's on the bag for one and doubles up Gwynn. So just like that, we see our third double play in the game. No runs, no hits, nobody left. And at the end of 3, Dodgers 1, Brewers nothing. Our text question today: who'll be the Dodgers' toughest competition in the National League West? The Giants, the Padres, or the Rockies? Text us your answer, because we would sure like to hear what you think. 4th inning, 1-0 Dodgers. Almonte, Reed, and Dickerson against Hiroki Kuroda. Kuroda has given up 4 hits, no runs. He's had 2 double plays. And a strike to Eric Almonte. Almonte from Santo Domingo and Kuroda from Osaka. Fastball grounded just foul outside of third. Diving effort by Aaron Miles. Almonte single to left field in the second inning. Almonte's the fellow who started the year 2 for 16. That was a 125 batting average. But since then, he's gone 18 for 33, about 550. Oh and 2. Of course, with Cecil Fielder, 32 home runs last year. Pretty tough to make the club as a first baseman. Hit in the air to the gap in right center field. And that one is going to be snared. So a long out to right center to Tony Gwynn. And we have one away. And that'll bring up Jeremy Reed. Jeremy struck out in the second inning. 0-1. And he promptly lifts one over the head of Uribe. So Reed, a little dunker. That would be hit number 5 for Milwaukee.
Number 7, Chris Dickerson.
We were telling you at the very start of the game, Milwaukee came in here with a team batting average of .339. They've had at least 10 hits in 17 of their 21 games this spring. They've had at least 10 hits in each of the last 10 games, and they have 5 hits in 3 1/3 innings today, but they're losing 1-0. So here's Chris Dickerson. In for a strike. We mentioned that Dickerson went to Notre Dame High School in the Valley. I always remember years ago how perplexed I was over the scouting system when the Dodgers picked up a shortstop in Connecticut by the name of Bobby Valentine. One ball and no strikes the count to Chris Dickerson. One out, Reed at first, 4th inning. Dodgers lead 1-0. Off speed, fouled away. Dickerson had a tough blow last year. He started the year with the Reds, but he broke the hook bone of the hamate bone in his right hand. They also had to work on his right wrist. So he had surgery in May, and he was pretty much lost for the year. One out, Reed at first, 1-0 Dodgers, 4th inning. Dodgers have their own physical problems, of course. You know about John Garland and Vicente Padilla, Casey Blake now with the bad back that might keep him on the DL for opening day, maybe. Jamie Carroll not playing today. He has a bad finger. Ground ball by the drawn-in first baseman Jimenez into right field. On his way to third and stopping is Reed. So just like that, another base hit. Runners at first and third with 1 out. That's 6 hits for Milwaukee. But the Dodgers trying to hold on to a 1-0 lead. And Brandon Boggs coming up. Because during the year, when you had hitters like Corey Hart and Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder, along with Casey McGee, the Brewers could pile up some runs. Last year, the only National League teams to allow more runs than Milwaukee were Arizona and Pittsburgh. But they're going to score a lot of runs this year for sure. So here's Boggs. First and third, one out, fourth inning. Dodger infield in double play depth. There goes the runner, and that's Dickerson. The throw is high, and he has stolen it. So that takes pretty much the chance of the double play away. And with one out, second and third, Boggs followed by Nieves. For Milwaukee, knocking on the door, they've had a runner in scoring position in the third inning, second inning, and now in the fourth. 3 straight innings. Only in the first inning, they had a man at first, but he was doubled up on a line drive. Dodgers 1 run, 3 hits. The Brewers, no run, 6 hits. 1-1 they count. Reed and Dickerson out there with one away. And a high fly ball into shallow left center. It's going to drop in front of Gwynn. The run will score. The throw went into second base. So the Brewers have not only tied it up, they've had 3 straight hits with 1 out, and they have another first and third situation. So Boggs, a fly ball single, and the run batted in. Reed carries home the run, and Dickerson goes to third. And the batter is Will Nieves. So for Hiroki Kuroda, being pushed around a bit, his earned run average coming into the game was a little over 5. He was 0-2, and in 10 innings, he had allowed 14 hits. So now to bring it up to date, in 13 2/3 innings, he's allowed 21 hits. So first and third, 1 out. Here's the catcher, Will Nieves. And a strike. Brian Knight, the plate umpire. One run, 7 hits for Milwaukee. 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. And we're in the 4th inning. Nice crowd on a very pleasant day. In the inning with 1 away, Reed singled to center. Dickerson singled him to third. Reed's scored on the single by Boggs, with Dickerson going to third. And here's Nieves, following 3 straight hits and a run. Runner goes, pitch in the dirt. Barajas throw way in time, and the tag is made there for the second out. With a right-hand hitter up, Uribe was covering, and Boggs was thrown out from me to you. So that's a costly out. 2 down, a runner at third. And Nieves backing out and looks at Ed Cedar to see if there might be a play. So Renicky has his club running a little bit. He had Dickerson steal, but this time he's burned with Boggs. Could say they are bogged down, but we'll see. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ball 2. For Kuroda, among other things, he had made 35 pitches in the first 3 innings. Wolf had made 44. Hiroki with the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. Hard ground ball, backhanded by Miles on the line, and throws him out. Oh, what a fine play by Aaron Miles. Miles' brilliant play not only took a hit and a run away, it kept the Dodgers tied. 1 run, 3 hits, and at the end of 3.5, a 1-1 tie. Dodger Baseball on KCAL 9, brought to you by your Southern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a luxurious Lexus today. Visit Lexus.com. Hiroki Kuroda has been saved by some brilliant Dodger defensive play. They've turned in 2 double plays, and that great stop by Aaron Miles saved another run. So despite the fact he's been pitching out of a stretch every inning, he's allowed 7 hits, but only 1 run. And we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, all even at 1. Juan Uribe grounded to short in the first inning. Uribe is 0 for 1. Juan is 5'11", about 225, big man. 32 years old, from the Dominican Republic. Uribe had a great year with the Giants last year. 24 home runs, 85 runs batted in. He also had 24 doubles. Uribe also played in 148 games, way out in front of a pitch. When he was with the White Sox 4 years ago, he played in 150. Going way back when he was with Colorado, he played in 155. But normally he's in there a lot. Ground ball to Betancourt. 1 away. So Uribe grounds to short for the second time. He's 0 for 2, and the batter, Marcus Thames. Thames with the bat, single left, scored the Dodger run, and made a great catch of the foul ball by Randy Wolf in the 3rd inning. Marcus, 6'2", about 205 pounds, a veteran at 34, and fouls it off first, out of play. They figured out for Thames that he hits a home run a little more than every 15 at-bats, 1 every 15. In his major league career, he's at 113. This time he lifts one back a third down the line. A trio of Brewers. It will be the left fielder, Brandon Boggs. So Thames a fly ball, 2 down here in the 4th inning. And Hector Jimenez coming up. Hector from Chivacoa in Venezuela. "28 years old. He'd be 29 in September. Dodgers signed him as a free agent. He is listed as a switch hitting catcher, but he's playing first base. Sinker a little low, ball one, 1-0. Ball two. Jimenez came into the game hitting .360 in the spring with 3 home runs and a half a dozen runs batted in. Matt Kemp has 3 home runs, 10 runs batted in. Ground ball to third. Kay Carretzel is up with it to get him. A very easy inning for Randy Wolf. 1, 2, 3. So the Dodgers retired in order, and at the end of 4, a 1-1 tie. As we go to the 5th inning, Randy Wolf, followed by Ricky Weeks and then Craig Counsell, and Hiroki Kuroda begins with ball one. Randy, as we mentioned, a good hitting pitcher, hit .247 last year. Taken all away for a strike. One ball, one strike, and a 1-1 tie. Fouled away. We told you about that game Randy Wolf had against Milwaukee when he was with the Dodgers. Correction, home run against Arizona when he had 3 hits, including a home run. But he has always been a pretty good hitter. Fouled off. A few years ago, Randy hit 3 home runs in one season, had a slugging percentage over .500. So he's not an automatic out. 1-2. Fouled away. Randy on the mound has had 3 breezes. By that, 9 pitches in the first inning, 10 pitches in the third, and 10 pitches in the fourth. Only in the second inning, when he allowed the run, did he labor a little bit when he made 25 pitches. Little ground ball up along first base. Jimenez on it. 1 away. For Kuroda, he's had a 9-pitch inning and a 10-pitch inning. It's not that he's been making that many pitches, but he's been pitching out a stretch all day. He's allowed 1 run and 7 hits. The key, the double plays, the great play by Aaron Miles, and the fact that Hiroki has not walked a batter. Ricky Weeks, 2 for 2, leading the pack in spring training. Hitting well over 450 in the spring. And a strike. He's had 16 hits in his last 34 at-bats. Weeks has 1 run batted in, no home runs. One ball and 1 strike. Ricky was born in Daytona, Florida. Ricky Darnell Weeks. He's 28 years old. Had his best year with the bat last year when he hit 269. 1-2. Not only did he hit 269, Weeks had 29 home runs, 83 RBIs, and for good measure, stole 11 bases. Those 29 home runs, most ever by a Brewers second baseman. Ricky at 28 is 5'10". Well put together at about 215. 2-2. We have a 1-1 tie, 1 out, top of the 5th. On the corner. So the fastball picks up the strikeout. That would be the second strikeout for Hiroki Kuroda. Weeks thought the fastball missed, and Kuroda got it there. So the batter is Craig Counsell. 2 out, 5th inning in a 1-1 tie. Counsell lined into a double play and single to right. Craig working on 14 years in the big leagues, 40 years old now, and a strike. Craig 6 feet, about 180. One and one the count to Craig Counsell. 2 out, 5th inning. Dodgers won and the Brewers won. Dodgers beat the Brewers 4 out of 6 when it counted last year. That misses. Last year, the Brewers had a remarkable first run inning against Washington in the nation's capital. They had a 10-run first inning, and Counsell had a grand slam, the 3rd of his career. And if Craig's not in the lineup every day, he is a very valuable player coming in as a pinch hitter. In fact, last year, he hit .333 coming off the bench. So he's up there to get the walk. And for Kuroda, the first walk that he has given up today to go along with 2 strikeouts.
Shortstop number 3, Yuniesky Betancourt.
And Yuniesky Betancourt coming up. Betancourt played a lot of baseball last year for Kansas City. He started 151 games at short. Of course, he did that. He had 3 years in a row with Seattle where he started over 150 games. He's 29. Counsell at first, 2 out, 5th inning in a 1-1 tie. Kuroda, 1 eye on the plate, 1 eye on Counsell. Counsell had just 1 stolen base last year. But in spring training at this stage, they might very well run him. They ran Brandon Boggs in the 4th inning, and he was thrown out stealing on the heels of Dickerson stealing second base successfully. And that's popped in the air, foul, out of play. 0-1, 2 down, 5th inning in a 1-1 tie. Yuniesky Betancourt. Betancourt came here with Zach Greinke in exchange for Alcides Escobar, Lorenzo Cain, Jeremy Jeffries, and Jake Odorizzi. Now, there's a big deal with Kansas City. Time. That's in there for a strike. Betancourt came into the game hitting .364 with 3 RBIs. He is 0 for 2, flied to right, and grounded hard into a double play in the 3rd inning. 3 big plays have stopped Milwaukee with 1 run. 2 double plays and a diving backhand stop on the line by Aaron Miles on a ball hit by the catcher, Will Nieves. And Nieves was thrown out. Otherwise, Dickerson would have scored a go-ahead run. That was a running fastball, and he went after it. 0-2 the count. 2 down, 5th inning in a 1-1 tie. Hiroki Kuroda and Randy Wolf, frontline pitching. Dodgers, however, not playing. James Loney, Andre Ethier, and Matt Kemp. And some of the big guns are absent in the Milwaukee lineup. Pitch out, 0-2, and no running. 1-2 to Betancourt with Eric Almonte on deck. High chopper charging his Miles and gets him to end the inning. So no runs, no hits, a man left. And at the end of 4 1/2, Milwaukee won and the Dodgers won. Dodger Baseball on KCAL 9, brought to you by Time Warner Cable, proud sponsors of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And we go to the bottom of the 5th inning in a 1-1 tie. Xavier Paul, Rod Barajas, and Aaron Miles in that order, and Randy Wolf is still in there. Randy has made 55 pitches now, and a 1-ball, no strike count to Xavier Paul. Randy last year was not Randy Wolf in some areas, specifically in his control. It's not Randy Wolf to walk 87 batters, but he did last year. Big rainbow curveball in for a strike. Xavier Paul struck out in the second inning. Xavier last year was called up to the Dodgers 3 different times to match his number off the plate. 2-1. For Xavier Paul, I'm sure he'll never forget his major league debut as a pinch hitter. He came off the bench and had a base hit against the Giants. 2-2 the count to Xavier Paul. Last year, he spent 44 games with the Dodgers, 57 in Albuquerque. He had a good year in Albuquerque, hit .325. Xavier Paul at 5'9", little over 200 pounds, 26 years old, out of Louisiana. Two and two. He has a look and pays the price. So Paul strikes out a second time, leading off the 5th inning. They are the only 2 strikeouts that Randy Wolf has. And with 1 away in the 5th inning, the batter is Rod Barajas, who singled to center in the 2nd inning. Rod, 35. He'll be 36 in September. In for a strike. 0-1. That's hit in the air deep and foul down the left field line, just about out of the ballpark. 0-2 the count to Rod Barajas. Gives you a good strike zone at 6'2". Rod listed somewhere around 245 to 250. He is a big man. And hits one on the handle, strong enough to hit a soft one-hopper, and Betancourt is able to get him. So a nice play by Yuniesky Betancourt on a soft one-hopper up the middle. He wouldn't get very many players. He would get a big veteran catcher, just like Aaron Miles would not have gotten very many players. When he took the base hit away, he was just able to throw Nieves out. That saved a possible go-ahead run, so we're still locked in 1-1. And with 2 out, Aaron singled to right in the 2nd inning, trying to get something started. First ball swinging, taps it to Craig Counsell. He takes care of him, so a very easy inning for Randy Wolf. That's 7 in a row retired by Wolf, and at the end of 5, a 1-1 tie. Next question today, who will be the Dodgers' toughest competition in the National League West? The Giants, the Padres, or the Rockies? Well, text us your answer. We'd like to hear what you think. Hiroki Kuroda has made 71 pitches in this game today as he goes to work in the sixth inning for a fine crowd. Must be close to a sellout. And Kuroda pitching to Eric Almonte, Jeremy Reed, Chris Dickerson. Jay Gibbons is now in left field for Marcus Thames. Jay Gibbons. Gibbons, as you probably know, has had a lot of trouble seeing the ball. And he went to see an ophthalmologist in San Francisco, and we found out why he was having so many problems. He wears contact lenses. The lenses turned out to keep falling out. They were not properly measured to fit his eyes. And then the payoff, the ophthalmologist said, and besides, the prescription is wrong. So poor Jay's been out there battling 90-mile-an-hour fastballs with the wrong contacts. So he'll start today now, replacing Thames. And we'll see if he bats against Randy Wolf. Almonte singled, fly to center, hits a one-hopper to Castro, who takes dead aim, and we have one out in the sixth. So Hiroki Kuroda is stretching it out a little bit here in the sixth inning, one out. Jeremy Reed, the right fielder, struck out and singled to center. Slightly overcast, which makes it very comfortable in a ballpark basically without a roof. 0-1 to Jeremy. Beautiful day, and especially if you're a redhead. You don't have to worry about being burned to death. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jeremy Reed. We told you he's from San Dimas. Went to Bonita High School. High bouncer up the middle. Just by the elusive graft of Eugenio Velez and into center field. So Reed comes up with his second hit. He's 2 for 3. And the batter will be Chris Dickerson. So yet another hit. 8 hits, but only 1 run to show for it for Milwaukee. The Dodgers have 3 hits and 1 run. And here is Chris Dickerson. Dickerson, as we mentioned earlier, had wrist surgery on the right hand and also had to have the hamate bone fixed. So because of that, playing in pain while playing with the Reds, he did not have a run batted in last year. One tie, top of the sixth. Hiroki Kuroda, Randy Wolf, and they're still in there. Kuroda has been pitching out of a stretch since the leadoff hitter. Hard ground ball, base hit into right field. Reed goes to second and holds on. So that would be the 9th hit by Milwaukee. 1 run on 9 hits. Remember, we told you that they came into the game as a team hitting .339. They've had 10 hits in each of their last 10 games. They have had 10 hits in 17 of the 21, and here they are with 9 hits today, and we're only in the 6th inning. So 2 on, 1 out. Brandon Boggs flied to right, single to center at the plate. And foul the fastball away. Boggs is involved in an interesting program, nonprofit in Atlanta, assisting inner-city students as they prepare to compete for college baseball scholarships, trying to inspire a new generation of players. Brandon Boggs. Two years ago, he dislocated his left shoulder, and he missed the last month of the season. High pitch went after it. Throw down is late. So Boggs going after a bad ball, and that helps out for Kuroda. No balls and 2 strikes. One out in the 6th inning in a 1-1 tie. Reed and Dickerson out on the lines. Kuroda just missing 2 on the inside corner. He's had good control. Of course, if he didn't have good control with 9 hits, had he walked a few, he'd probably been out of the game. But he's only walked 1, and that came with 2 out to Craig Counsell in the 5th inning. 1-2. And a high fly ball to right field. Xavier Paul is there. The runners tag, but they are not going. And the throw comes into Castro. So Brandon Boggs, fly ball to right field. 2 out in the 6th inning, and Will Nieves coming up. Nieves grounded to third in the 2nd inning and then was robbed on the defensive play of the day. Aaron Miles at third base, diving, backhanding, and smothering what would have been an extra base hit down the line. And now let's see. With Nieves coming up, Don Mattingly feels that that'll be enough. He'll go to the bullpen. And so Kuroda will get his pitch count in the inning because he started with 71 pitches, and he will come out having allowed just 1 run and 9 hits. He was constantly in trouble, but he constantly wiggled off the hook. He made 11 pitches in the inning, so he made 82 pitches in the game. And at this stage of the game, that's important. Yeah, we'll be back as Ramon Troncoso is coming in right after this. Dodger Baseball on KCAL 9, brought to you by Carl's Jr. $6 burgers, made with 100% Black Angus beef. So Hiroki Kuroda makes 82 pitches, goes out tied, but also goes out having allowed 9 hits, walking 1, striking out 2. the Brewers have left 5, and Troncoso will now face the catcher Will Nieves, who is 0 for 2. Troncoso, 6'1", 200-pounder with the Dodgers last year, was 2-3. He was in 52 games. Ramon in the Dodger organization since 2002, and should he make the ball club, and he figures it will be his 4th year with the Dodgers. Fastball, and the first pitch hit into center for a base hit. Here comes Reed to score, and on their 10th hit, the Brewers take a 2-1 lead. So Troncoso makes one pitch, and the go-ahead run comes over. That run of charge to Kuroda, and for the second time, it's Jeremy Reed who brings it in. So 11 straight games, the Brewers have had 10 hits in each game, and they've had 10 hits in 18 of the 22 games they've played. Randy Wolf coming up with 2 on, 2 out, a run in, and the Brewers lead 2-1. Troncoso gets a strike, 0-1. Ramon with his wife Erica and baby Isabella. Pitch foul back. Isabella will be a year old April 4th. Meanwhile, Randy Wolf fouled out to left. That was a great catch by Marcus Thames and grounded to first in the 5th inning. Everybody but Betancourt and Wolf have at least one hit. 1-2 the count. In the inning, Reed singled. Dickerson singled into center. After the fly ball by Boggs for the second out, they lifted Kuroda, and the first pitch to Will Nieves lined to center for a base hit. 2-2. Ramon Troncoso, in his time in spring training, ERA just under 5, 1-0, and has worked 7 1/3 innings prior to today. Though the deuce is wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, and it's fouled away. Dodgers will be home to play 3 exhibition games in Los Angeles. Play 1 at Dodger Stadium with the Angels, 1 in Anaheim, then an exhibition game with Seattle, and then Thursday night, March 31, opening night with the Giants. Clayton Kershaw celebrating his 23rd birthday today against Tim Lincecum. Foul ball off third, out of play, and the count remains 2-2. Randy Wolf, no slouch with the bat, as we've mentioned. Last year he had 19 hits. He had 5 RBIs, and he had 4 doubles. 2-2. So that's a break for Milwaukee. The count goes 3-2, and with 2 down, they'll have them going. Dickerson from second and Nieves from first. Waiting on deck, a replacement, Eddie Masonette. He would bat for Ricky Weeks. So a big pitch for Ramon Troncoso. Runners at the ready, 3-2 the count with 2 down. Runners go, and the fastball is ball 4. So Wolf draws the walk. Nieves advances to second. Dickerson to third. And Eddie Masonette will be batting now for Ricky Weeks. Weeks 2 for 3, had single to center, single to right, and struck out. Maisonette from Puerto Rico was originally signed by Houston, up and down in '08 and '09 with the Astros. And ball one. Last year he played AAA, and he also was back almost in the rookie league. Went to Delta State University. For Maisonette, played in the Puerto Rican Winter League following each of the last 3 years, so he comes to spring training ready. Though Troncoso was having his troubles, he came in and made one pitch to Nieves, who singled to drive in the go-ahead run, then went 3-2 with Wolf and walked him. Now he's behind to his third hitter, Maisonette. 2 balls and no strikes. High foul off third. Miles checking, watching as it goes back into the stands. Maisonette, a non-roster player, appeared in 40-some-odd games with the Astros over the last couple of years. He plays second, third, and short. 29 years old. Oh, deuce is wild again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Bases loaded, 2-1 in favor of Milwaukee. So Troncoso walking a high wire act here. He's given up a single, a walk, and now he's gone too close for comfort to Eddie Maisonette. And that's going to be hit into right center. It will fall. 2 runs are going to score, and that makes it 4-1 in favor of Milwaukee. So Ramon Troncoso, a discouraging appearance as a pinch reliever, coming in to give up 2 singles, a walk. That is the 3rd hit in that leadoff spot, and a run batted in. 2 runs batted in, really. We'll have another pinch hitter. Matt Gamble is now coming up to bat. So on the base hit to center, Dickerson and Nieves scored. Stopping at second is Wolf. And here's Gamble. Matt, left-hand batter out of Florida, and he hits one to left field, but Gibbons comes over and makes the catch. And that's the 3rd out, but it was an elusive 3rd out. It took the 4th hitter to get that 3rd out, and 3 runs go up on the board. The Brewers lead 4-1. tie as they pile up 11 hits and lead 4-1. The runs charged to Hiroki Kuroda. Of the 4, 3 of them, Nieves, who scored, was charged to Troncoso. A couple of changes now. Eddie Masonette, who batted for weeks, stays in at second base. Matt Gamble, who batted for Council, stays in at third base. Luis Cruz takes over at shortstop. And the Dodgers go to the bench. Ivan De Jesus will bat for Troncoso. So Ramon Troncoso gave up 2 hits, a walk, and 1 run. Kuroda was charged with 3. And De Jesus, first ball swinging, lifts a fly ball to Boggs in left field. And just like that, 1 away.
The shortstop, number 13, Juan Castro.
Juan Castro coming up with 1 out. 4-1 Milwaukee. You have 2 teams in direct contrast, at least in spring training. The Brewers would be number 1 offensively, and the Dodgers would be pretty much at the bottom. And right now, the Brewers leading 4-1, 4 runs, and 11 hits. For Milwaukee, they have 10 hits on the board, but we have 11 up here. And the Dodgers just 1 run, 3 hits. Big bouncer over the head of drawn-in Gamble. And Castro rounds and keeps on going to second. The throw, he is safe at second. So Castro finishing for Rafael Furcal. Bounces a double into left field as the Dodgers try to answer back. Down 4-1 in the 6th inning. The Brewers scored 1 run on 3 hits in the 4th inning. They scored 3 runs on 4 hits and a walk in the 6th inning to account for their 11. The Dodgers scored their only run in the 2nd inning on a couple of base hits. For the Dodgers, that double by Castro finally gets a man aboard. They had 8 in a row retired since Furcal walked, and it's the first man to be in scoring position, and he's going to score as Gwynn bangs one to center field, and that'll be a base hit. So Gwynn's base hit picks up Castro, and that makes it Brewers 4, Dodgers 2. And the batter now, Eugenio Velez against Randy Wolf. So Wolf, last hit was Miles in the 2nd inning. He sailed through until now a double and a single in the 6th. So the Dodgers 2 runs, 5 hits. Eugenio Velez, big drink of water at 6'1" and maybe 160 pounds. He's from the Dominican. Up and down with the Giants, takes a strike, 0-1. Signed by San Francisco, first came up 4 years ago, and he's just gone back and forth from San Francisco to Fresno. He might not know the way to San Jose, but he knows the way to and from Fresno. Fouled at the plate. Velez, switch hitter, batting right-handed against Randy Wolf. Large group of Dodger fans wearing Dodger blue, walking through the stands, one behind the other now, doing a little cheerleading. You can see them up there. Oh, 0-2, and a throw to first with Gwynn back on the bag. Velez finishing up at second base. He can play the infield. He's also an outfielder. In his time with the major leagues, he hit .256 career batting average. Another throw, and again, Gwynn gets back. 4-2 in favor of Milwaukee. Bottom of the 6th inning. Velez, his name, Eugenio, his mother, after whom he was named, the Eugenia. So big swing, and he comes up empty. That would be the second out of the inning. It would be the third strikeout for Randy Wolf. And the batter now would be Jay Gibbons, and now Ron Renicky going out. Let's see if he's going to talk to Randy Wolf how he wants Gibbons pitched. Marcus Thames, while he was in there, had singled and flied to left. And we'll see if Ron is just instructing or taking him out at this stage. He will take him out and go to the bullpen, and we'll be back. Dodgers offer half-price food and drinks during every weekday afternoon game this season. You save 50% on food and drinks, and you watch the Dodgers back Brooklyn uniforms. For tickets, call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com/throwback. So during those weekday games, come have lunch with us and take in the ball game. Zach Braddock coming in. Braddock is a big fella. He is 6'4", 230 pounds. He had Tommy John surgery just as Randy Wolf had. The only difference, Zach Braddock had his Tommy John in high school. He has worked his way up as a high thought-of prospect in the Brewers organization. Throws hard, fastball up the high, well, about 96. Sweeping slider, cutter, and a changeup. And a good strikeout man. And they moved him from starter to reliever, and it's really helped him. Ball one. Braddock's conversion worked wonders for his career. He was an inconsistent injury risk to the major league starting role. And now, as a left-hander, he came in last year and did well. So it's a perfect spot to use him now and against left-hander Jay Gibbons. First he was high, then he was low, and he's behind now 2-0. Last year, he was being hit during batting practice, hit on the hand, fractured a pinky on his left hand, missed the last few games. Gets that over for a strike, and the count 2-1. The Brewers hope that Braddock will be a prominent setup man. They want him to knock his walk rate down a little. breaking ball, but it's out of the zone. So Braddock comes in and falls behind 3-1. Gibbons hitting just 125. When you understand his problems with, well, eye problems, a lot of them, you can understand. First time up wearing the new contacts the other day, he had a base hit. Runner goes, and the pitch is hit in the air to right field down the line, hooking in the corner and going foul. He could just as easily have hit that thing out of the ballpark. So Gibbons a long foul. Count stays 3-2, and Gwynn back to first base. Braddock, born in Mount Holly, New Jersey, lives in Southampton. Zachary is his middle name. His first name is William, but everybody calls him Zach. Runner goes, pitches off the plate for ball 4. So the Dodgers, thanks to that walk, have runners at first and second, representing the tying runs as they trail. Meanwhile, the paid attendance is a whopper. We said it was close to a sellout. Well, it turns out to be 12,141. That would be the largest crowd here at the Camelback Ranch in Glendale this year. A whopper. 12,141. So here now is Hector Jimenez, lined out to left, grounded to third. Fastball, first ball swinging, fly ball into shallow right center, and it will be Eddie Masonette going out to make the catch. So the Dodgers get one, but leave the tying runs on base. 1 run, 2 hits, and a walk, and at the end of 6, 4-2 Milwaukee. Hits, and the Dodgers 2 runs, 5 hits, and an error. In their 6 innings, Milwaukee has left 7, while the Dodgers have left but 3. It's been Kuroda, Troncoso, and now Travis Schlichting. It's been Wolf and Braddock for Milwaukee.
Leading off for the Brewers, the shortstop, number 9, Luis Cruz.
Luis Cruz playing the last few innings for Yuniesky Betancourt. So Cruz will start it off, and then it'll be Almonte and Reed. Betancourt, while he was in there, was 0 for 3. And here's Cruz. He's out of Mexico, Navajoa. And a strike. Spent most of last year at Nashville. Called up late in September. And he came to spring training ready because he was playing in the Mexican League. and comes off the bench and gets a base hit to center. So Kuroda came out, and Troncoso gave up a base hit, a walk, and another base hit, and the lead. Now Schlichting comes in, and the first batter greets him with a single. So as usual, the Brewers on very much of a big roll, and you think about it, without Corey Hart, without Ryan Braun, without Prince Fielder, they have had a tremendous spring. Almonte, the first baseman, is 1 for 3. Single to left, fly to center, grounded to short. First ball swinging, he hits it into right field for a base hit. Cruz keeps on going. So just like that, Schlichting gives up back-to-back singles. The Dodgers are in trouble yet again. So 13 hits now for Milwaukee. Jeremy Reed has struck out, single to center and scored in the 4th, single to center and scored in the 6th. So Reed is 2 for 3. 4 runs on 13 hits for Milwaukee. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. Hiroki Kuroda had a good outing in the sense as a starting pitcher. He made 82 pitches today. Randy Wolf also had a good workout. He made 50 pitches, going 5 2/3. Randy allowed 2 runs, 5 hits, struck out 3, walked 1. With Reed, Dickerson, and Boggs due up. And that's popped in the air to straightaway center. Gwynn is there. Tagging up at third is Cruz, and he will hold on a good strong throw, cut off at the mound. So Reed a fly ball, but not deep enough to advance Cruz. 1 out, and Chris Dickerson coming up. Dickerson reached on a fielder's choice, also an error by Furcal. Single to right, stole a base. Single to right, scored a run. So he's been busy. Dickerson, the center fielder. So Chris up there, first and third, 1 out. Brewers leading 4-2, and we're in the 7th inning. Before the biggest crowd of the year, 12,141. Foul back. Perfect weather. And over here, of course, when the sun can just turn you into a pile of ashes, we've had a thin layer of clouds all day, and that might very well have encouraged a lot of people to come to the ballpark without a roof. And they're seeing quite a game. A lot going on here. 4-2 Brewers, 7th inning, and they're looking for more. Travis Schlichting, the third Dodger pitcher, 4 innings, actually 4 games, 3 1/3 innings, and he's been pushed around a little bit. You have Cruz at third, Almonte at first, 1 out. Got a strike. So Dickerson in the hole now. No balls and 2 strikes. Dickerson was hitting .259 coming into the game, and he is 2 for 3. Oh and 2. So Travis misses inside. 1 and 2 the count. Off the plate. So Schlichting got 2 quick strikes on Dickerson. Missed inside, now missed outside. And the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. First and third, 1 away, 7th inning. And the Brewers trying to hold on to and add to a 4-2 lead. A look and a fake. Almonte must have read that. He had a very, very short lead anyway. And I was thinking, looking up at the sky, they did a survey between Arizona and Florida, a 10-year survey. Give you the temperature and the rain difference. That's going to go down the line, and it'll be an extra base hit. So Cruz scores to make it 5-2. And on the relay, Castro's throw to the plate is late, and that makes it 6-2 on a double by Chris Dickerson down the left field line. By the way, his 3rd hit. So the Brewers come up with 2 more at the expense of the Dodger bullpen. 3 hits, 2 runs. Schlichting gives up 2, and it's 6-2 Milwaukee. Anyway, over that 10-year survey, the temperature in Phoenix, the average high was 74. Florida's average high was 78. As far as rain was concerned over a 10-year period, actually is more than 10. Gosh, it was about 29-year stretch. The average rain here in March, 1.1 inches compared to about 3 in Florida. And we understand there's been some rain at home, and apparently that rain will be coming over here by Monday for sure. It's raining base hits. 6 runs on 14 hits for the Brewers. They lead the Dodgers 6-2. Kuroda was charged with 3, but he allowed just 1. But then Troncoso came in and gave up some base hits. And now Schlichting is lit up a little bit with 2 singles and a double after facing only 4 batters. Off the plate. Answering the 6 runs and 14 hit explosion for Milwaukee, the Dodgers have just 2 runs on 5 hits. Dodger 5 hits. They have 1 extra base hit. That was a double by Juan Castro. There's a drive to right. Back goes Paul. The ball is over his head. He goes to the track and makes the catch, and the runner has to hold at second. So Brandon Boggs unloads, and a nice catch out there about 375 feet away. It's 380 at the wall. So Will Nieves will be coming up. Nieves twice grounded to third, but once was a sensational stop and throw by Aaron Miles. Last time up, he greeted Ramon Troncoso, who made his first pitch in relief, and Nieves singled to center to drive in a run. 1 of 3 that came in that inning. Ball 1. Nieves was hitting .276 and 1 for 3 today. So the Milwaukee Brewers just continue to pile on the base hits. And again, you say 14 hits, what a club. And then you realize that the big boys, the Ryan Brauns, Corey Hart, Prince Fielder, they're not in there. One and 1. Comebacker, and the throw to first by Schlichting, and that's the inning. Not before 2 singles, a double add up to 2 more runs, and at the end of 6.5 innings, Milwaukee 6 and the Dodgers 2.
to maintain flexibility and prevent injuries.
And on to the Dodgers right now, Zach Braddock, the left-hander in relief of starter Randy Wolf. Braddock came in and gave up a walk, but got the last out in the 6th inning. Meanwhile, the Dodgers tried to bail out Kuroda, but Troncoso was not able, and nor was Travis Schlichting. So 6-2 in favor of Milwaukee. Xavier Paul, Rod Barajas, and Aaron Miles in that order. Xavier Paul struck out twice today. The hungry hitter coming up. Paul during the year and coming into this game was hitting .313, so they've cooled him off a little bit. 12,141 taken in the ball game today. Dodgers' final game here will be against Cleveland next Sunday on the 27th. Then they'll come home, play 2 exhibition games with the Angels, an exhibition game with Seattle, and then Thursday the 31st, opening night with the Giants. Tim Lincecum and Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw celebrating his 23rd birthday today. Xavier Paul lifting a fly ball to left center. On the move is the center fielder Chris Dickerson to put it away. And just like that, 1 pitch, 1 away. A reminder, our text question today, who will be the Dodgers' toughest competition in the National League West? The Giants, the champions, or the Padres, or the Rockies? Well, we'd like to hear your answer. 1 pitch and 1 away here in the 7th inning. Rod Barajas going the distance behind the plate. Singled in the 2nd inning, but was out trying to go from 1st to 3rd on a base hit. And last time up, grounded to short. Fastball in for a strike. The name Braddock, if you are old enough, or even if you're a boxing fan, you might remember the former heavyweight champion of so long ago, Jimmy Braddock, who surrendered his boxing title, I believe, to the great Joe Louis. High fly ball to left field on the dead run is Wade Boggs in the corner, leaps in the air trying to catch it. Apparently did not, but he sure gave it his best shot. Boggs disappearing down in the corner, but he's okay as he comes back to his position. So Barajas will try it again. 1 out, 7th inning, 6-2 Milwaukee. All right, Boggs back into position. Barajas back up to the plate. 0-2 the count. Fastball popped in the air right side, and will be the second baseman, Eddie Masonet. And just like that, 2 out in the 7th inning.
Third baseman number 6,
Aaron Miles playing third base, single to right, grounded to short. So the battle for the Dodgers, a utility infielder. You have Juan Castro, Aaron Miles, Jamie Carroll. Certainly figures to be on the club after the great year he had last year. Jamie stuck a finger in a ground ball, so it's a little sore, having trouble throwing. So that gave Miles and Castro each a chance to play today. 0-1 to Aaron. 1 for 2. Miles at 5'8", solid 180. Working on his 9th year in the big leagues. 1-1 Aaron. Aaron in the Cardinal organization last year, and when he played in the big leagues for St. Louis, he had 281. Check swing. They're going to look at first swing. So that makes the count 1-2. Thinking about the Cardinals, they lost one of their treasures. If you were old enough to remember a shortstop with St. Louis named Marty Marion. He was very tall and very rangy. He had the nickname Slats, S-L-A-T-S, Marty Slats Marion. And he passed away around the same time as when the Dodgers lost Duke Snider. The Duke was 84. Marty Marion was 93. 1-2. Pulled the other way down the line, out of play. So Miles up there battling. Miles 2 years ago hit .317 for the Cardinals. The year before that for St. Louis, a solid .290. He can hit. He can play. Times the curve, check swing, ground ball to short, and the out as Luis Cruz makes the play. So the Dodgers roll over in the seventh, and at the end of 7, 6-2 Milwaukee. The Dodgers down 6-2, and they switch the battery. A.J. Ellis will be handling the pitching of Scott Elbert. The Dodgers also bring in 2 additional outfielders. Trent Olgen is now in center. Gabe Kapler is over in right. In the 8th inning, Reggie Keane, an outfielder, and he'll be hitting for Zeke Braddock. So Reggie Keane off the bench to hit for Braddock. And facing the left-hander, Scott Elbert. That's right. For Elbert, in his 5th game, he's only worked 3 1/3 innings, an ERA of around 5. For Keane, getting a chance to swing the bat. He has not had an at-bat. 0-2 the count. Keane did have 1 plate appearance in the spring and walked. Young fellow, 23, out of Danville, Virginia. Signed by Milwaukee in June of last year. Keane is 5'11", about 175. Missed most of last year with a fractured left wrist. Graduated from Radford University. A degree in sports administration. Fouled away. He was a second-team All-Big South selection. Hitting the 350s as a senior. And I think what caught the eye of the scouts, among other things, 31 stolen bases. Reginald Keene goes after a bad ball, and down he goes. So Elbert picks up a strikeout. Kuroda had 2 strikeouts. Troncoso and Schlichting failed to get a strikeout. So a free-swinging Milwaukee team has only struck out 3 times today while piling up 14 hits. Eddie Maisonette finishing up after Ricky Weeks was 2 for 3, and Maisonette singled in the 6th inning as a pinch hitter. 6 runs, 14 hits for Milwaukee, 2 runs, 5 hits, an error for the Dodgers, and a fly ball to right field and deep. Going back is Kapler, and Gabe picks it off. So Maisonette, a long fly ball to right, just like that, 2 down. So be sure to follow the Dodgers with MLB.com at @11 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Dodgers.com for details. Matt Gamble finishing up at shortstop. Was actually Gamble finishing at third base for Craig Counsell. He's out of Jacksonville, Florida. September, he had to have surgery on his left big toe. In the note on him, they say left great toe. Do you say great toe? I've always heard big toe. But I'm not a major leaguer. If you're a major leaguer, you have a great toe. 1-2 the count. Matt Gamble, Gamel. Out of Neptune Beach, Florida. Scott Elbert trying to get some outs and impress somebody, but he's high. And the count goes 3-1. They are having an air show here at nearby Luke Air Force Base, and that's just started, so you might hear the sound of a plane every now and then. That's popped in the air to right field. Gabe Kapler coming in and waiting. Gabe puts that away. So just like that, a 1-2-3 inning for Scott Elbert. And at the end of 7.5, Milwaukee 6 and the Dodgers 2. Dodger Baseball on KCAL 9, brought to you by Carl's Jr. $6 burgers made with 100% Black Angus beef. A lot of changes now late in the game. We'll start with the pitcher, Mark DeFelice. His new catcher is Mike Rivera. And in the outfield, Chad Stang is in right field. 6-2 in favor of Milwaukee. Trent Olson will be coming up to hit, so he came into the game to play center field and bat ninth. Dodgers with a spring training record of 8-15, but they have a little 3-game winning streak on the line today. The Brewers came in with a record of 13-8, and that's a strike to Olson. Trent Olson out of Sydney, Australia, originally signed by Minnesota. Little foul ball. Trent called up last year, became the 4th Australian-born Dodger. Craig Shipley, Luke Prokopec, and Jeff Williams. Olson, 28 years old, and the count runs 1-2. Mark DeFelice on the mound for Milwaukee. It's been Wolf, Braddock, and DeFelice. Line drive that might have gotten a little bit of DeFelice. It did on the way into center field. And he got it on his right hand, so timeout. Now remember, the Brewers have lost Zach Greinke for a while. They've lost Sean Markham for a while, physical problem. DeFelice was with Milwaukee in 2009, but did not pitch. He was on the DL with a right shoulder strain last year. Now trying to impress, and he takes a line drive off the right hand. So Olson, a single to center to get the Dodgers started in the right direction. And let's see about DeFelice if he can continue, and he cannot. So DeFelice, a tough break. He's out of Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, 34 years old, and Mark comes in, and the first batter, Trent Olson, it's a line drive that gets him on the hand. Tough break for Mark, so timeout for the moment, and we'll be back right after this. He's hit by the batted ball, replacing an injured pitcher. So Mike McClellan will be brought in from the bullpen, and certainly has all the time in the world to get ready. A big cowboy out of Texas, 6'5", 225, Michael Melton McClendon. Spent most of the year at Nashville last year. He was a Coast League All-Star. At Nashville, earned run average 2.4, basically a reliever. So he's gone from AA to AAA, and here he is in the big leagues. Made his debut last August against Colorado and had 3 perfect innings, and became the first pitcher in Milwaukee franchise history to retire the first 9 batters he faced in a single game in his major league debut. Boy, that's a great way to break in. Picked up a victory against San Diego and then pitched in the Arizona Fall League. He's 26. So McClellan taking his time getting ready. It's been Randy Wolf, followed by Zach Braddock, Mark DeFelice, and now Mike McClendon. For the Dodgers, Hiroki Kuroda made 82 pitches. He weakened in the 6th inning, went out with a couple of men on base, and Troncoso's first pitch was hit for a base hit and a run, and then a walk, and then another base hit against Troncoso. 3 of the 4 runs were charged to Kuroda, and the Dodgers were unable to recover when Schlichting came in to pitch the 7th and gave up 2 more runs. So you have Mike McClendon and Mike Rivera as the new battery, and McClendon is about ready. Pitching runs in the family. He has 2 older brothers who are professional pitchers. One pitched in the Braves organization, the other with Kansas City. So big McClendon pitching to Juan Castro, ball 1. 1-0. I guess the 2 surprises when you realize that Craig Counsell is 40 and when you realize that Castro is working on his 17th year in the big leagues. Line drive down the line, foul. 1 ball and 1 strike to Juan Castro. Trent Olgin at first. Nobody out. 6-2 Milwaukee, bottom of the 8th inning. Fouled away. Castro signed to be a professional player in 1991. Came up to the Dodgers in 1995. Then left the Dodgers for Cincinnati. He was with Cincinnati 5 years. Went to Minnesota, came back to Cincinnati. Went back to Minnesota. Went back to Cincinnati, then to Baltimore. So he's bounced around. You realize Cincinnati has really been an extra home for him. He left the Dodgers and went to Cincinnati. He went from Minnesota to Cincinnati, back to Minnesota, back to Cincinnati, Baltimore, back to Cincinnati. How in the world? Juan has 1 child, a son, Juan Jr., originally signed by Dodger scout Mike Brito. Crack back ground ball under and away from Luis Cruz. That was a perfect double play ball, and Cruz was able to handle it. Ball was hit hard, but Cruz makes that play if he's going to be in the big leagues. So 2 on, and Gabe Kapler coming up. So they have taken a while, but they have now decided properly so, error 6. So instead of 2 out and nobody on, line drive by Kapler down the left field line into the corner. So that will score Olchen. Castro will stop at third on a double by Gabe Kapler. So the Dodgers get a run on the heels of what should have been a double play ball, and they're still very much alive.
The second baseman, number 9.
So Olchen scores. The double by Kapler sends Castro to third. So the center fielder Gwynn had a base hit to drive in a run. Now Kapler hitting in his stead and playing right field. Doubles to drive in a run. Dodgers down by 3, have second and third, nobody out. Eugenio Velez, the switch hitter, will now bat left-handed. And ball 1. Of course, for Ron Renicky and the Brewers, they get a tough break. They bring in DeFelice, and he's hit on the hand on the line drive single by Olchen. So McClellan perhaps not originally to pitch at all today, but here he is. One ball, no strikes. High pop on the left side. It'll be the shortstop Cruz to make the catch. So by rights, that should have been the third out, but it's only the first out. And the batter is Jay Gibbons. So the Dodgers got a huge break, and we'll see if they can cash it in now. Second and third, 1 out. Gibbons making his first appearance with the bat. Marcus Thames single to left, fly to left, walked, and made a wonderful defensive play on a foul ball that was hit by Randy Wolf. So here's Gibbons, first base open. In for a strike, 0-1. We told you about poor Jay's problems. Contact lenses didn't fit, wrongly prescribed. 0-1 in the dirt. Another nice block by Rivera. Kapler at second base. Castro down the line from third. 1 out, a run in. 6-3 Milwaukee. And a little roller to the right side. Eddie Maisonette will make the out. Castro will bring in the run. And it's 6-4 in favor of Milwaukee as Gibbons picks up a run batted in. Hector Jimenez, the big first baseman, going all the way. Olchen, who scored on the double, was charged to DeFelice. Castro, who scores, is charged to McClellan. Jimenez lined out to left, grounded to third, and popped up. The Hector is 0 for 3. And ball 1. 28-year-old out of Venezuela. Six runs, 14 hits for Milwaukee. 4 runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers. Hard ground ball under the glove of Almonte and down the line. So Kapler will score. Going into second base with a stand-up double is Jimenez. And the Milwaukee lead is 6-5. All because of A, the Brewers losing a pitcher, and B, Luis Cruz letting a double play ball get away. The Jimenez with that double into the right field corner, and the Dodgers get close. Gabe Kapler brought it in. So McClellan has given up 2 hits, and now A.J. Ellis hitting in Xavier Paul's spot. A.J., who looks like a catcher, 6'2", about 225 pounds, hit .278 last year. So the Dodgers, with several breaks here in the 8th inning, have the tying run at second base with 2 out. Ellis last year had 16 RBIs with a couple of doubles. And a high chopper wide of third. On it there is Gamble, and a high throw is picked off by Almonte. So they leave the tying run, Jimenez at second base. However, the Dodgers get 3, and we're heading for the 9th. Milwaukee 6, and the Dodgers 5. Dodgers, thanks to a blown double play ball, score 3 times in the 8th inning, and it's 6-5 Milwaukee. 2 of the 3 Dodger runs unearned in that inning. Dodgers, with runners in scoring position, have made the most of their opportunities. They're 5 for 8 with 5 RBIs. Milwaukee has had 13 opportunities with runners in scoring position. They produced 5 times for their 6 runs. So it is 6-5 Brewers. Lance Cormier will become the 5th Dodger pitcher. Kuroda, Troncoso, Schlichting, Elbert, and Cormier. With that French-sounding name, you figure, and you're right. He's from Lafayette, Louisiana. Lives in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And first pitch, ball 1 to Luis Cruz. Cormier has been around. He's been in the big leagues up and down 7 years with Arizona, Atlanta, Baltimore, and Tampa Bay. And he's greeted with a drive into left center, moving over as Olchin to make the catch. And we have 1 away, top of the 9th inning.
First baseman number 74.
Eric Almonte coming up. Almonte has single to left, fly to center, grounded to short, and single to right. In the Brewers lineup, every spot except the pitcher has at least 1 hit. Dickerson, the center fielder, leading the way with 3 hits, 2 singles and a double. So Almonte, 2 for 4, 0-1 to count. Cormier in 60 games for Tampa Bay, working on Eric Almonte. 1 out, 9th inning. 1-1. Cormier was originally drafted by Arizona back in 2002. Fly ball to center. Coming up for it in a hurry is Trent Olchin. And just like that, 2 fly balls to Olchin, 2 out in the 9th inning. Jeremy Reed coming up, and Chad Stang, who finished up in right field for Reed, will be the batter. Chad Stang. Stang, 22 years old, out of British Columbia. He's from Surrey in British Columbia. And grounds one up the middle for a base hit. Stang missed all of last year with a right shoulder labrum tear.
The center fielder, number 7, Chris Dickerson.
Making the most of a brief appearance with a 2-out single. So Cormier gives up a base hit, and that means 15 hits for Milwaukee. And Chris Dickerson with 3 hits coming up. Dickerson reached on an error on a fielder's choice. That was a ball hit in the hole back in the second inning. Juan Uribe went in the hole, made the play back for call. Rafael trying to lean in for the throw, dropped it, drew the error. After that, Dickerson singled to right and stole a base, singled to right and scored a run, and doubled into. So he's been busy. The pride of Notre Dame High School, Chris Dickerson. Throw, very close, and Stang just did get back. Death, where is thy Stang? Well, close. 6 runs, 15 hits for Milwaukee, 5 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers, each side with an error. On deck hitting back of Dickerson is Brandon Boggs. In the 9th inning, Dodgers down by 1 and trying to keep that way and get out of the top of the 9th after 2 fly balls to Trent Olson. Two and one. Cormier, who might have been born in Louisiana, went to school at the University of Alabama. One reason why he lives in Tuscaloosa. Got a degree in finance. Quick throw, but it gets away. Jimenez unable to handle the throw. So down to second goes Stang. And I believe they would give the error to Jimenez. Dodgers' second error.
Error 3.
So Jimenez will get the error. 2-1 the count. Stang at second base, Dickerson trying to pick him up. Two and two. And down he goes. So Cormier gives up the base hit, but nothing else. Faces 4 batters. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. We're heading to the bottom of the 9th, 6-5 Milwaukee. By the way, here are the final numbers for our text message question. Who will be the Dodgers' toughest competition in the National League West? 74% of you went with the world champions San Francisco Giants. In the ninth inning, with the Brewers leading 6-5, they bring in Justin James to pitch, and the Dodgers will have Brad Kuhn bat for Lance Cormier. So James, who was with Kansas City last year, he's 6'3", 215, out of Oklahoma City. And he'll be facing Kuhn, then Miles, and then Olsen. They pull up the corners looking bunt. So Kuhn apparently is well known by the Brewers. 1 ball and no strikes. He is a youngster, is Kuhn, about whom we know nothing. There is not a word on him. Checking and checking. But at this stage of spring training, every now and then, it's one of those things, let's get a kid in a big league game, even if it's only an exhibition game. 1-2 the count. Justin James went to Yukon High School and the University of Missouri as he works on Kuhn. James first came to the big leagues after almost 7 years in the minor leagues. Last year was in 5 games with Oakland. Fouled away. James was selected by Toronto, acquired by Cincinnati, released, signed by Oakland. Two and two. On the corner, and down he goes. Crowd basically booing the umpire. They'd like to see the kid get on base in a big league game. But he had a look, a taste, one away, and the batter is Aaron Miles. Miles, going all the way at third base, played very well defensively, and he is 1 for 3, single to right, and grounded to short twice. Switch hitter, turning around now to bat left-handed. And ball 1. So it's been Randy Wolf and then Braddock, DeFelice, McClelland, and James. The Dodgers, Kuroda, Troncoso, Schlichting, Elbert, and Cormier. And that's sliced down the left field line, base hit. Over to get it at the corner is Boggs, and it gets away from him. And the tying run is at second base with 1 out in the ninth inning. So just that corner of the box seat juts out towards the foul line, and Boggs couldn't handle the carom. So Miles with a double to left. He is 2 for 4. And Trent Olsen, who's singled in the 8th inning, coming up. So the tying run is out there with Juan Castro on deck. 6 runs, 15 hits for Milwaukee. 5 runs, 9 hits for the Dodgers. Dodgers have committed 2 errors. Milwaukee 1. It was 1-1, then the Brewers appeared to break the game open. They led 4-1, 4-2, and then 6-2. And then Luis Cruz messed up a perfect double play ball. Dodgers scored 3 because of it. Got back in the game to trail 6-5, and now have the tying run at second base. 1 out. Olsen followed by Castro. In the dirt. Nice block by Rivera. Dodgers with a little 3-game winning streak. They're 8-15. Not much to crow about. And the Brewers are 13-8. One and one. That's a strike. So 1-2 to count to Trent Olson in the number 9 shot. The only two Dodgers who started the game and are still in there, Aaron Miles, who's out there at second base, and Hector Jimenez, the first baseman. 1-2. And down he goes. So Olson strikes out. James has struck out 2. And with a tying run at second base, Juan Castro coming up. Rafael Furcal started the game, grounded out and walked. Castro doubled on a high bouncer over third and hit the ground ball that should have been the double play. It got away from Cruz for the huge error, and the Dodgers scored 3 times because of it. Well, now it's up to Castro to keep them alive. Miles at second, 2 out, 9th inning, 6-5 Milwaukee. 0-1. One ball, one strike. Two out in the ninth, tying run at second, 6-5 Brewers. Off the plate. Hitting after Castro is Gabe Kapler, who came up with a double to drive in a run in the 8th inning. So Kapler waits. Two and one to Castro, trying to get Miles home, tie up the game. And it's going to be hit into center field, base hit. Here comes Miles. He will score. Down to second goes Castro, and we're in a tied-up ball game. So Juan Castro, a base hit to center, takes second on the throw to the plate, picks up a big RBI as Miles carries it in. For the Dodgers, down 6-2, have now tied it up 6-6. And the batter is Gabe Kapler, who doubled in the 8th inning. So James gives up 2 hits. He has struck out 2, but he gives up the tying run. And here is Kapler. Gabe, another veteran with 12 years in the big leagues, has a look at ball one. Gabe, who lives in Tarzana, went to Taft High School in the Valley, went to Cal State Fullerton, also Moore Park Community College. Check swing. 2-0 the count. Two and 0 to Gabe. Kapler, who certainly could be on the cover of a fitness magazine, 6'2", 205-pounder, born in Hollywood. 2-0. And ball 3. On deck, Eugenio Velez. Kapler first came to the big leagues in 1998 with Detroit. He's been with Detroit and Texas, Colorado, Boston, Milwaukee 3 years ago, Tampa Bay, and now with the Dodgers. 3-0 to Gabe. And ball 4. I think with the winning run at second, 3-0, they were not going to give Kapler anything to swing at with Velez coming up. So Eugenio Velez coming up. 2 on, 2 out, tied up, 6-6. Velez, switch hitter, has not done anything with the bat. Uribe went 0 for 2, and Velez has struck out and popped up. Velez last year in 29 games had 8 RBIs. Most RBIs in a year, 09, he had 31. So he's up there now with a chance to win the game and send everybody home. Or extend it, as we had a game against the Cubs last Sunday in Las Vegas. And a strike. On deck is Jay Gibbons. So a 1-out double by Aaron Miles and a 2-out single by Juan Castro to drive in Miles and tie it up. 6-6 in the 9th. Way out in front of it. 0-2 the count to Eugenio Velez. And a little looper into center field, base hit. Here comes Castro. Here's the throw. He is out at the plate. A great throw by Chris Dickerson, and Juan Castro nailed at the plate. It was a perfect throw, a great call by the plate umpire. And the Dodgers and this big crowd are thoroughly frustrated. There aren't many times that Eugenio Velez is going to hit what looks like a game-winning base hit. And we're heading for the 10th, 6-6. On video, we mentioned earlier that Juan Castro has had 16 years in the big leagues. But after 16 years, it is a longer run from second to the plate, and it showed on that bloop single with 2 out. So Castro shows the years, the wear and tear, and we go to the 10th inning. Brandon Boggs will start it off as Castro goes back to his position at short. Denker is the new third baseman for the Dodgers, and Juan Rincon is the pitcher. Travis Denker has taken over for Aaron Miles. Well, last Sunday against the Cubs, they ran out of pitchers. We had 16 pitchers in the game. So far, we have had only 11 pitchers in the game today. Rincon is the 11th. That's a strike, and that will do it for Boggs. So 1 out in the 10th inning.
The catcher, number 11, Mike Rivera.
Mike Rivera finishing up for Will Nieves behind the plate. And Rivera's first at bat. Nieves was 1 for 4, robbed of an extra base hit by Aaron Miles when he was playing third base. 0-1 the count. Juan Rincon pitched briefly against the Cubs last Sunday. Gave up a couple of base hits, but got a double play to get out of the jam. That's the only time we've seen him. So Mike Rivera. Popped in the air, foul coming over is A.J. Ellis, but it's back in the crowd. The crowd is certainly part of the story today, the largest crowd of the year. 12,141. 12,141. They're not all here now, obviously, but it was a full house. And hit by the pitch is Rivera. So Mike will go to first. George Kataris, a catcher, will now bat for James. So Kataris coming up to hit with a runner at first, 1 out. Six runs, 15 hits for Milwaukee. 6 runs, 10 hits for the Dodgers. Milwaukee committing 1 error, and the Dodgers committing 2. So the Dodgers getting the winning run out at the plate in the bottom of the 9th, and here we are in the 10th. There goes the runner. Hit and run, pop fly, back a third down the line. Denker goes out on the grass and makes the catch. He has a double play if he can get it over there in time, but he can't do it. So Kataris fouls, pops up to third, but Rivera was just able to get back to first. So 2 down. Eddie Masonette will now be coming up with Rivera at first. So they played hit and run. Didn't work. They might now try straight steal. So far, the Brewers have had 1 stolen base. It was Dickerson in the 4th inning. Chris Dickerson has had a big game. 3 hits, 2 runs batted in, and he made the throw that nailed Castro at the plate. So we're 6-6, top of the 10th. Masonette single to center and fly to right. He's 1 for 2. But seeing Rivera take off in the 10th inning, they're really going to have to keep an eye. Eric Farris has now taken over as the runner. So Farris, Farris, is the runner at first, and they certainly might run him. He bluffs on a pitch out and gets back to the bag. We're in the 10th with 2 out. Farris at first in a 6-6 tie. And they are really watching Farris now. There he goes again. Pitch out. Ellis's high throw. Quick tag got him. Nice tag by Juan Castro. So no runs, no hits. No one left. We're heading for the bottom of the 10th in a 6-6 tie. Bottom of the 10th inning. Zach Segovia will pick up the pitching now. So it's been Randy Wolf, followed by Braddock, DeFelice, McClellan, James, and Segovia. Segovia is from Dallas, Texas. He lives in Florida. He was originally selected by Philadelphia, released by Philadelphia, released by Washington. Though, of course, that's a bad rep to have when you're released by Washington. He has had an appearance with Philadelphia, 1 game 4 years ago, and he was in 8 games with Washington and had an earned run average of 7.8, which is why they released him. So for Zach Segovia, 27 years old, but he has basically been a minor league pitcher for about 9 years, and he'll start off against the Dodgers. New catcher behind the plate, Martin Maldonado. And Jay Gibbons takes ball 1. Gibbons grounded out in the 8th inning, is only at bat. Fouls that away. One and one. Ball 2. So Wolf, Braddock, DeFelice, McClellan, James, Segovia, 6 pitchers. Dodgers have used 6. And we're in the 10th inning, tied at 6. Fouled away. Segovia has a father-in-law, Darrell Coles, actually Darnell Coles, who's the hitting coordinator in the Brewers organization. Just missed at the knees. 2-2. At AAA Scranton last year, Segovia was 3-2. Jay waiting, 2-2 count. Hector Jimenez is on deck, and then A.J. Ellis. Crowd of 12,141 were here at the start of the game, many of whom have decided to call it a day. The game 3.5 hours old. And a high drive to dead center. Back goes Dickerson to the track at the wall and makes a great play. What a tremendous game he's had today. 3 hits, 2 RBIs. Threw a runner out at the plate and now crashes into the wall to make the catch here in the 10th inning. Chris Dickerson, a graduate of Notre Dame High School in the Valley. Wow. He gets a round of applause, and well he should. Dickerson is 28. Born in Hollywood and lives in Marina del Rey, has just been magnificent out there. He's done everything you can ask of him. Timely base hits, runs batted in, great throw, and now a great catch, although he banged a knee, I think, at the base of the wall. He's waving to his manager, don't come out, but he'll come off with the trainer. And he will get an ovation. Chris Dickerson. He was originally signed by Seattle, been on the DL a few times, acquired by Milwaukee in the deal that sent Jim Edmonds, a great defensive center fielder, to Cincinnati. And, of course, Edmonds has retired. And Dickerson has assured everybody he's okay. He is more than okay. He's something special. Chris Dickerson. So 1 out in the 10th, and Hector Jimenez coming up. Segovia is certainly saved by Dickerson. Jimenez going all the way is 1 for 4. Ball 1. Hector lined to left, grounded to third, popped up, doubled to right to drive in a run. A.J. Ellis, the catcher, on deck. When you look at the bullpens, you realize the expenditure of players being used. There are a lot of empty chairs in left field and in right field, signifying the extent of this kind of a game in spring training. In there, 3-1. So Jimenez with his power, certainly green-lighted, 3-1. And ball 4. So Segovia saved by Dickerson on that long blast by Gibbons. Now faces A.J. Ellis. Ellis grounded out in the 8th inning. Xavier Paul went 0 for 3. A.J. out of Gerardo, Missouri, lives in Wisconsin. Ellis grounded out. There goes the runner, and the throw high into center field. However, after sliding in, Jimenez can't get up, and had he tried, Dickerson, I think, was right there to nail him. So it'll be a stolen base for Jimenez, and the Dodgers now, having had the winning run thrown out at the plate, now have the winning run at second base with 1 out. One ball, no strikes. Ground ball to short. Cruz makes the play. Holding on at second is Jimenez. So the batter is Travis Denker, who finished up for Aaron Miles at third base. Travis Denker, who was born in Fountain Valley and lives in Brea. He went to Brea Olinda High School. He was signed as a free agent May of last year. In the minor leagues last year, he had 304 at AAA Tacoma. He was released by Seattle and signed by the Dodgers. Fouled away. Denker is 5'9", but checks in about 206 pounds. Dodgers originally selected him back in the 2003 first-year player draft. So Denker with a chance to win it. Trying to get Jimenez home from second. Dodgers came this close, 9th inning. Castro at second base and 2 out. Eugenio Velez, a flare single to center, and Castro was thrown out on a perfect throw by Chris Dickerson. And that's going to be flared into right field, but it's going to be caught there by Maisonette, and he makes the play. So, at the end of 10, we have a 6-6 tie.